Hey fellow gardeners! If you've been dreaming of lush, vibrant gardens with soil that practically hums with life, then you've come to the right place. I'm Virginia from Soil Stories, and today I'm sharing one of my absolute favorite secrets for breathing life back into tired soil. Supercharged compost tea. Whether you're tending a small balcony garden or managing a sprawling backyard paradise, this simple elixir can make your plants healthier, your soil richer, and your garden more productive. Compost tea might sound like something out of a gardener's fantasy, but trust me, it's real, powerful, and surprisingly easy to make. I've experimented with countless recipes over the years, and today, I'll walk you through a method that not only nourishes your plants, but actually revives even the most neglected garden patches. Before we dive into the how-to, let's talk about the why. Compost tea is essentially a nutrient-rich liquid made by steeping compost in water. But it's far more than just a fertilizer. It's a living solution, teeming with beneficial microbes, fungi, and nutrients that boost soil health, enhance plant growth, and naturally ward off pests and diseases. Think of it this way: if regular compost is like a multivitamin for your garden, compost tea is like the supercharged, fast-acting version. It goes straight to the roots, feeding both the plants and the soil microbiome. That's why even struggling plants can perk up within days of a proper application. Now don't worry, I'm going to keep this simple. You don't need expensive gadgets or fancy fertilizers. Here's what I recommend for a supercharged brew. First, start with high-quality compost. This can be homemade or purchased, but make sure it's rich, dark, and crumbly, not smelly or slimy. Good compost is full of life, and that's exactly what we want. Next, you'll need dechlorinated water. Tap water often contains chlorine, which can harm the very microbes we're trying to cultivate. Let your water sit in an open container for 24 hours, or use rainwater if you have it. Then add a sugar source, something like unsulfured molasses. Don't worry, we're not making candy for humans. This is food for the beneficial bacteria and fungi. Optional, but highly effective, is a small amount of aeration. Oxygen-loving microbes thrive in well-aerated tea. You can achieve this with a simple aquarium pump, which keeps your tea bubbling and thriving over the steeping process. Here's my tried-and-true method that has worked in my garden for years. Take your time with it, because a properly brewed tea is like magic in a bottle. Choose a bucket or container that can hold at least 5 gallons of water. Make sure it's clean to avoid introducing harmful bacteria. Fill it with your dechlorinated water. Take roughly 1 to 2 cups of high-quality compost and place it in a mesh bag or old pillowcase. Submerge this bag in your water. This keeps the solid bits contained while allowing nutrients to infuse into the water. Add about 2 tablespoons of molasses. Stir gently to dissolve it. This is the fuel your microbes need to multiply rapidly. You'll notice tiny bubbles forming if you're using aeration. This is a good sign. If you have an aquarium pump, place it in the bucket and let your tea aerate for 24 to 48 hours. Stir occasionally if you're not using a pump. The goal is a dark, earthy-smelling liquid, not rotten or putrid. This indicates your compost tea is alive and thriving. After steeping, remove the compost bag and give your tea a gentle stir. It's ready to pour directly onto your soil at the base of plants, or even as a foliar spray. Now that you've brewed your supercharged compost tea, let's talk about how to get the most out of it. For soil application, pour it around the base of your plants. The liquid penetrates the soil, reaching the roots and feeding beneficial microbes. Your soil structure will improve over time, helping with water retention, nutrient uptake, and overall plant vigor. You can also use it as a foliar spray. Spray directly onto leaves early in the morning or late in the afternoon. This not only provides nutrients to the plant leaves, but also helps create a protective microbial layer that can reduce the risk of fungal diseases. For maximum results, apply your compost tea every 2 weeks during the growing season. You'll start noticing stronger stems, brighter leaves, and better yields. Plus, your soil will feel alive beneath your fingertips. Diversity is key. Using a mix of composts, vegetable scraps, leaf mold, and garden debris introduces a wide variety of microbes. Avoid metal buckets. Metals like iron or aluminum can react with your tea and harm microbes. Stick to plastic or wooden containers. Go light on chemicals. If you've been using synthetic fertilizers or pesticides, your tea won't be as effective. Smell test. A good compost tea smells earthy, like a forest floor. Even seasoned gardeners can make errors, so I want to save you the frustration. The biggest mistake is oversteeping. More than 48 hours can lead to harmful anaerobic bacteria taking over. Another common error is using low-quality compost. Remember, the strength of your tea depends on the life in your compost. Also, don't store your tea for long periods. Microbes die quickly, so use it fresh. And finally, avoid using chlorinated water. It will undo all your hard work. So why bother making compost tea at all? The results are truly remarkable. Plants become more resilient, soil becomes richer and more crumbly, and even pest problems tend to diminish naturally. What's amazing is that compost tea doesn't just improve the soil temporarily, it revitalizes it long-term. Over time, your garden essentially becomes self-sustaining, requiring less intervention from synthetic fertilizers and chemical additives. One of the most exciting things about compost tea is how personal it can be. Every garden has its own microbial fingerprint, and each batch of tea will be slightly different. Experiment with different compost mixes, sugar sources, and brewing times. I've been brewing compost tea in my garden for years, and I can honestly say it's changed the way I approach soil care. Watching struggling plants spring back to life, feeling the softness of soil alive with microbes, and seeing my garden thrive year after year. There's nothing quite like it. So there you have it, a full guide to making supercharged compost tea that can revive any garden. Start small, experiment, and watch the transformation unfold. This is a method that works for beginners and seasoned gardeners alike, and it's completely adaptable to your garden's unique needs. If you enjoyed this guide and want more hands-on, practical gardening tips, make sure to subscribe to Soil Stories and share this with your gardening friends. Trust me, they'll thank you when their plants start thriving like never before. And remember, a garden that's alive below the surface is a garden that will flourish above it. Happy brewing, and here's to a vibrant, thriving garden.